There's a new upgrade trend in cycling that claims to extend the life of your drivetrain by keeping it quieter, cleaner, and more efficient. And this upgrade can be done to any bike. So today we're gonna find out how much it costs, how hard it is to do, and if this is something that we actually wanna do to any of our bikes. So there's a lot of different brands that make product for this, but my deep tech dork engineer on the spectrum friends, they all use Silca. So I figured they put way more time and effort into this than I ever would, so I'll just follow their lead. So that's who I hit up. And serendipitously, they just released a whole system for doing this, and it was just good timing. Thank God, because it's gonna make all of this much easier. To be clear, this video is not sponsored by Silca. I needed the right tools for the job, and they came through. Beyond that, everything is fair game. There's two different paths you can go down to accomplish this. The DIY dirtbag version, which is gonna cost a little bit less, but it's gonna cost you more in time and effort. The other path is the convenience version, which tends to cost a little bit more, but often you'll save in time and effort. Generally, the convenience version is the preferred method. So let's see how convenient it actually is. So today I'm gonna use Silca's new chain wax system. It's a whole kit which is gonna make life so much easier. But this could be done with a thrift store crock pot and a bottle with degreaser. It doesn't have to be that complex. I don't think. Is that true? Pour wax pellets to fill up until 20 millimeters remain until top. There's no indicator? 20 millimeters. Well, I'm glad I made that 20 millimeter mark. Hot melt chain wax lubrication with nanoscale tungsten disulfide. I've read that 35% of all bicycles are disulfide deficient. And the bike we're gonna use as a guinea pig is my all-road Sith. I treat it poorly in the worst conditions. The first step in this process is degreasing our chain. Now they suggest using a brand new chain or using a chain that has less than 500 miles on it. This chain has about 495 grimy Pacific Northwest winter miles, so I'm gonna push my luck and use this. I added this chain when I put this fake pulley wheel system on there. Look at that. I broke my fake ceramic speed. How on brand to super glue the AliExpress ceramic speed knockoff pulley wheel. So there's two ways to go about degreasing the chain. The DIY approach is putting the chain in a jar, doing a round of mineral spirits, around 10 minutes, and then doing a round of acetone or isopropyl alcohol. The other version is with Silca's system. If you had a factory chain, all you'd have to use are these strip chips, which actually go in the wax that you're waxing your chain with. Insanely convenient. Because my chain is already grimy and I'm pushing the boundaries on if I should even use it for this or not, I'm gonna hit it with a bunch of speed degreaser from Finish Line to try and get as much grease off of it as possible. For this to work effectively, we've got to get all the grease off of it. We're essentially going from oil to vinegar, so we don't want to cross-contaminate because then we're just wasting time and resources. Wow, that speed degreaser works really good. Look at how clean the cassette is. Look at how remarkably clean this chain got. Okay. So now what we have to do is add some of this strip chip to the melted wax, and then we continue the process from there. In the past, I've used a crock pot to melt wax, and it takes a tremendous amount of time. An hour or more. It's so slow. But this Silca crock, it melted the wax in like 10 to 15 minutes, which is something to consider. That's almost like the perfect metaphor for convenience versus DIY. So it looks like you get about 6 chain strippings out of one package, which is pretty good. That's a lot of chains. This and this stand are gonna be very helpful for this process. This is a check in the convenience box, because without this, you're gonna have to DIY something. And I was thinking it would have to be like something with angle brackets and maybe a piece of wood. You know, this would work, but you're still gonna have to make it. You know, you just put some more angle brackets up there, or just one. Yeah, that would work. Gently lower chain using cable coupler into wax and lightly agitate for 30 seconds. Oh, shit. I'm not sure how you're supposed to submerge this chain without the coupler ending up in the wax. I'm sure it's fine, but it feels wrong. Being careful not to spill or splatter any of the wax. Oh my God, I'm making a mess. Then lower temperature back down to 75 Celsius on the melter. Oh, it's called a melter. Having like something to pull this stuff out of the wax, very helpful. Ow! So how to tell if the chain was clean enough? There's not a bunch of dark spots on it, so I think I did pretty good, actually. And apparently, when it's time to re-wax the chain, you pull it off the bike, pour boiling water over the chain, let it dry, and stick it back in the melter. It is easier if you articulate each link, breaking them free prior to installing on the bike. All right, let's put this on. This thing is like rigor mortis. At least my hands aren't dirty. All right, we're in there. Gotta work the kinks out. All right, so I guess it is necessary to break each link free before you put it on, which I didn't do that. I was impatient. I just put it on, and now I'm dealing with my sloppiness. Let's see how she rides. Anybody else out there got an extra bike or 6 that they've been meaning to sell, but you just haven't been wanting to deal with Craigslist? No, I will not hold it for you, or even worse, offer up. It clearly states pickup only. Well, lucky for us, there's a new player in town looking to change the game in the pre-owned bike market. They're a small group of cyclists that go by the name Bicycle, like B-U-Y cycle. Bicycle.com. Oh, I get it. What makes them so special? They offer buyer protection, secure payments, and they even have ultrasonic carbon fiber checks. It's a girl! To look for stress fractures and delamination in carbon frames. I could probably use that. And for those of us whose partners think we have a bicycle problem, the selling process is streamlined with suggested pricing, a fast, convenient listing option. That's nothing. I heard Ron listed in under 3 parsecs. And your posting will have a global reach of over 30 countries. Take that, Craigslist. Not to mention, they'll send you a box, shipping supplies, a label, and schedule the pickup. Thank God. So whether you got a road bike, gravel bike, mountain bike, even a tri-bike, they're interested. They're like a pre-owned bicycle cornucopia. Is that how you use that word? So check out bicycle.com to make all your pre-owned bicycle selling and acquiring dreams come true. I'm really hoping you're N+1 here, but if you sell and replace, that also works. I suspect this thing is not gonna run that great to start. In fact, it does not run that great to start. You gotta break that wax up. Sounds like garbage to start. That doesn't take long. It's about 5 minutes and that thing's broken in. I know, because I looked at my clock. Oh yeah, 5 minutes, 40 seconds. Smooth. That's great. It kind of feels like the drivetrain has a lather of butter over it. Just like a little bit smoother. It's subtle, but it is there. There is some residual chain skipping, but it diminishes throughout the ride. I'm about 10 miles in and it's more or less gone. Okay, hang tight. I'll let you know if this juice is worth the squeeze. And it's suggested to re-wax your chain every 500 miles or once it starts getting a little noisy. You'll be able to hear it and then you know it's time to re-dip the chip. All right, We're calling that properly tested. You can still see a little bit of wax on there, but I have a feeling it's all gonna wear off. So maintenance for this after grimy, wet rides is either one of these Silca gear wipes, which is basically a glorified wet wipe. You know, it's a strong material, but not totally necessary. The other thing you can do that's not gonna cost any money and you can infinitely reuse it is a microfiber towel. But you just wipe it off and that's it. You don't have to reapply anything. You just clean it off, put it away, ride it again. Huh. It's getting some stuff off. I would say the gear wipe is a slightly better way to go, but the microfiber is gonna be just fine. All right, let's talk numbers for a second. If you were gonna do this as a DIY method, you'll need a crock pot, a jar, candy thermometer, so you can tell the temperature of the wax, mineral spirits, acetone, angle brackets, and chain wax. Coming up to a grand total of $110 versus the convenience method, which includes the Silca chain waxing system, the chip strip, chain wax, coming up to a grand total of $164, resulting in a difference of roughly $54. But one thing to consider is the DIY method is going to take more of your time and effort. If that's worth $54, then there you go. I'll put links to everything down below. All right, on a scale from fun to frustrating, I would call this whole process fine. It's right there in the middle. It's actually very similar to setting up tubeless tires. And it's also similar in the fact that you have to maintain it over a certain amount of time or miles. An upgrade like this is interesting because it's basically taking a lot of little bits of maintenance and consolidating it into one session of maintenance. So it's not that it isn't done, it's just done in a different way. And so far it's a much cleaner way, which is, I'm all for that. And the fact that it extends the life of your drivetrain by keeping it cleaner, there's less maintenance throughout the season. I think this is an upgrade that's definitely worth considering. Yeah. And think of all the many little watts you'll be saving over an extended period of time. That's marginal gains. That's savings you can take to the bank. Who writes this? Now, to get a full understanding of what an upgrade like this can do, you'll have to watch this video, where I go over a very obscure upgrade that had some unintended consequences? They were results. What's the difference? It feels so weird to put this away and not lube the chain.